Relative clauses, restrictive and non-restrictive relative clause. Relative clause, who, which, whose, or that. When we begin to study languages, it is normal to use sentence and simple and possible subject, verb, predicate, but is your English levels up? You need to introduce relative clause or sentence with relative pronouns like who, which, whose, or that. How do relative clauses work? Relative clauses are those that act as a subordinate relative to main clause, giving more information about a thing or a person that had already been mentioned before. For example, the cushions that are on the couch are purple and green. In this case, the main clause would be the cushions are purple and green, and the secondary or subordinate clause, the cushions are on the couch. You won't it, but we use the relative pronoun that, which refers the cushions. There are two main types of relative clause. The cushions that are of the couch are purple and green, and it will be defining relative clause, a specific subordinate clause. These types of tenses give the necessary information to understand what we are referring to and do not have commas. This is the case in the example sentence above. If we omit to subordinate clause, we no longer know which caution we are referring to. His boyfriend of him, who is from Madrid, is studying maths. It belongs to not define relative clause. Explanatory subordinate clause. These types of the sentence provide additional information about the person or thing we are referring to, but it is no exception to identify it. In this case, they do have commas if we remove the relative clause. It is still clear which person we are referring to. Pronouns for relative clauses, who, which, that, and whose, who. This pronoun is used only to refer to people. It can act as the subject or the object of the sentence. The woman who works at my office is very efficient. Mark's brother, who is 18, has just started university, which, contrary to who, this pronoun only works for things and animals. It can also be the subject or the object of the sentence. The book which I read last week is very interesting. The cat, which is very friendly, is skeleton. That that this is a pronoun that can be applied both to refer to people or things. Therefore, you can use into replace the woman who works on the office. The woman at my office is very efficient. The book that I read last week is very interesting. Whose? Lastly, we have the pronoun whose, which should not be confused with whose signs. It acts on possessive to better identify it. Think that in Spanish is word bit related as whose, or whose. Yesterday, in meet a very host, sister and supermodel. He knew the guy whose bike you bought. Who? We do not want to forget to mention the relative pronoun home. Although rarely used, it can be very useful in formal context. In addition, it is ideal to demonstrate your command of English. The pronoun who replaces with the are not the subject of the sentence but are the ones who receive it, namely to whom it may concern, interested, a useful formula to start a formula email. Whom does he love? He does he love. Thank you for attention.